That was electric. I'm ready now. I don't know if I was ready before, but I'm ready now.
That's what I do. I bring the hype. And here we go. Both players starting off here in Link's house and finding Moon Pearl right off the bat.
Yeah, that's a nice item to have out of the way really early on.
Yeah, that's going to mean earlier. We've got an early map check. All 3 crystals and all regular crystals, not even crystals 5 and 6. So we are in for an interesting seed here.
Yeah, that is interesting. I think I saw crystal 7 in Eastern Palace, but as he said, they're all regular crystals, not 5 or 6, so it's really irrelevant at this point.
Indeed. Only green rupees from the tree pool. So not off to a good start here. Let's see what Uncle's got for him. And we get, Vanilla Fighter Sword.
Wow, Vanilla Fighter Sword, that's a useful weapon early on. It means they can explore the remainder of the escape, having a reliable weapon to defeat some of the guards. That's a good indication.
Yeah, but nonetheless, is this even randomized? And a piece of heart from the chest there. So they more than likely might be going into the dungeon area of escape because now they have that sword. And indeed, that looks like where Z4T0X is going. So let's see what we find downstairs. Also, both players opting to use regular Link. No custom sprites for this run, as far as I can tell, which is unique. I'm normally used to seeing custom sprites, which I like.
Yeah, that is pretty unique.
Ooh, Power Glove!
Power Glove. Lift upgrade and the Moon Pearl and the Fighter Sword early on. Those are some pretty solid items early on in the Light World.
Yeah, wow. This is a very... Jet, you hiding anywhere, buddy? We're getting a Jet seed here already. I'm almost worried now because it's only a matter of time before the trolling begins.
Yeah, it seems to be the case that whenever you get a bevy of good items early on, inevitably, 20-30 minutes later, they find themselves at a standstill looking for one progression item that just seems to be holding out.
Every race I've commentated, I've seen that. Finding a piece of heart there in the second chest. So now they're going to head downstairs, take on the Chain Guard Knight, and of course get the item in Zelda's treasure chest. Let's see what we've got going on there.
Probably also see a Death Warp, of course, without the use of the mirror here.
Makes sense. Z4T0X now taking on the Chain Guard Knight here. Very quick kill, given that he's got the regular sword. What is Zelda's chest hiding? Just the burrito.
Yeah, I think the obvious next move for Z4T0X is to start at the Sanctuary and perhaps immediately dive into the back half of Escape.
Makes sense to me as well. Finding a big 20 in the Sanctuary chest. And actually, no, he's opting to go to the left. He's probably going to check the Lost Woods and then head to Kakariko.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps more conventional call. It's a bit tempting when you get that lift upgrade starting out at the Sanctuary to keep it almost vanilla by just completing the escape, or at least as much as you can, with the exception of that darkroom chest.
Indeed. I'm sure they'll go back there eventually because you don't want to miss out on the items there. Still no bombs, though. That's going to be tricky. And they don't have enough to buy any from the shop yet, so they're probably going to have to try to find some money before they go on. Z4T0X now heading into the Lumberjack Cave. 300 rupees there. Probably not going to be seeing that picked up later on.
And chat astutely pointing out that with the lack of bombs, diving into that back half of Escape would be a waste of time. So good job, chat.
Fair point, fair point. You guys are on point this morning. But let's see what's hiding here in the Lost Woods. As we check the mushroom spot and we find... Oh, there's some bombs. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, pretty timely pickup there.
Indeed. Heading into the Forest Thieves hideout, and we find just a 5-bomb upgrade. So with that, both of our runners are most likely going to be heading into Kakariko Village. Going to find a lot of interesting items there with the amount of places they can check.
Yeah, and interestingly, I'm trying to recall the last time which version it was where they got rid of the bomb upgrade, giving you actually an extra bomb in your inventory in addition to being an upgrade. That would be nice in a case like this.
Yeah, I remember version 18, the version we used for the previous tournament, did have that. It gave you arrows and bombs when you got their respective upgrades, but here we do not have that. Z4T0X now heading into Blind's Hut. We've got 5 potential items here. Let's see what the thief was hiding this run. And we have 50 rupees, blue mail, that's always nice. Both mail upgrades, and ether.
Dipping into Blind's wardrobe there.
Yeah, no kidding. And we find another blue rupee in the back of the hut. But still, that means defense is going to be very high this run. They're going to be a lot less needing on hearts this time because they are protected.
Yeah, certainly the males help early on with the lack of health that they've had so far, but that'll change soon enough. I mean, I expect by the time they leave Kakariko, they'll probably have at least 5 hearts. There's just so many items to get.
Indeed. We're going to check the well. We've got more bombs. Perfect timing for that because they're going to need those here. Let's see what's hiding in the back. We have Master Sword. 100 rupees, big 20. And a bomb upgrade, but still, Master Sword and red mail right out the gate. You want to talk about a really fast seed here.
Yeah, so of course they can go into Eastern whenever they want, and they probably will at some point. Still a lot of overworld to explore, but, interestingly, nothing really significant to get them, say, up the mountain without sequence breaking or into desert so far.
Indeed, and we find piece of heart from both the bottle vendor and the chicken shack. There's our 4th heart now. So now we're going to see the trolling start, because with that many items they found this early on, like you said, there's not many places there's no dungeons they can full clear just yet. That could still change very quickly. Let's see what we find here in the tavern. Half magic!
It's a nice luxury item to have early on. Of course, the only thing they can really, use their magic with at the moment is that ether medallion, but soon enough they get a fire rod. That's really a valuable weapon, especially early on against bosses, although they do have the Master Sword, but, half magic fire rod, for instance, against
Titan's bits on the library! Ooh. Boots required!
Wow, big time.
Oh, this seed is already trolling them early. The race game with a single rupee. So yeah, we're boots required seed because we need to get those Titan's mitts from the library shelf. Z4T0X now heading back to the sanctuary, most likely heading to the back end of escape now, like we said earlier, now that he has some bombs for it. Let's see what we find in those 3 or 4 chests.
Yeah, mitts on the library shelf are really interesting because now the focus is just on the boots. Where are the boots? Because, of course, the mitts are, indispensable in terms of accessing the dark world and also just completing like 4 dungeons.
Yeah, desert being the most prominent one because you never know when the boots might be required there as well. And I did not see what Z4T0X found in the back of escape. Looks like we had a little bit of stream lag there, unfortunately. But we'll see what Mclagging picks up there while Z4T0X now, after doing a quick map check, heading to the South Shore. We're going to check the dam and the mini Moldorm Cave. And we found blue rupee, the small key, and a piece of heart. So not much there, unfortunately.
Well, that key is going to be interesting. The runners will have to keep that in mind. And Mclagging wasting no time, actually. This is going to be interesting. Could be a pretty solid plate. Of course, has the sword beams to help out here in the dark room.
Indeed. 300 rupees from the dam chest. So that is going to be... There's your Zora money pretty much right there. Meanwhile, we're going to drain the dam, and we're going to see what's hiding there. It looks like just 50 rupees from the dam, from draining the dam, unfortunately. So they're still searching for more items, heading over to the mini Moldorm Cave.
And Mclagging's still making his way through that dark room for that chest. Hopefully it pays off for him. Oh, just a little piece of love.
Yeah, unfortunately, but not surprising at this point. They've gotten a lot of items early on. It's going to start slowing down at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what's in the mini Moldor Cave. We have Magic Cape, 10 arrows, Big 20, some more bombs, and oh, Big Red Cane!
Wow, so the cane, again, I mean, that's a lovely item to have, and, you know, of course, just not have to worry about it later on in the game if Mire and T-Rock are, in fact, required, but at this point, not incredibly helpful, but still a free location.
Yeah, we are fun. This is a super fast seed here. Meanwhile, now Z4T0X is going to be heading to the Ice Rod Cave. I've said this before. This is one of those locations that no matter how you route it is always out of the way. There's no route you can easily get to this cave. So best to get it out of the way early in case it has something big.
Yeah, it's a bit like Agina's cave. It doesn't seem to consistently have worth, but as you mentioned, because it's so out of the way and because it's so accessible, you really can't take it for granted. You do have to check it, much as you may not want to.
Especially when it only gives you a piece of heart like we got here.
Mm-hmm.
So Z4T0X is going to head out. I think he's not saving and quitting right away, so I think he's going to be setting up for fake flippers.
Now, interestingly, there's still quite a bit of Light World locations to check here, but right now they have a lot of the things they would need to go and beat Aghanim. So say something twisted like the boots are on the pyramid and they don't pick up the hammer. Aghanim, of course, would be required at that point to get into the Dark World unless they get the flute or a couple of other combinations, but something to keep in mind.
Indeed. Now, Z4T0X trying to be careful here, but he's going to set up the water walking glitch because he has the Moon Pearl. So we're going to see what's in the Waterfall of Wishing, and then, of course, we're going to see what Zora's got to hide. And we've got a heart container and a piece of heart from the waterfall. Not much there, but that little extra health is always nice, even with the red mail. So he heads into Zora's domain. While the waterfall is a sequence break, because they have the power glove, the Zora's domain is not a sequence break. This is in the logic. Only a big 20 on the ledge, so thankfully he's not going to have to go back for that.
And time to find out if we're in for a life lesson.
Yeah, let's see what Zora has, and he has just a bomb upgrade.
And we are. Total life lesson right there.
All right, so Z4T0X now going to head over to Eastern Palace, make a stop over at Sir Hasala to see what's hiding in his closet. Meanwhile, Mclagging now setting up his
Z4T0X looking like he's going to make the play up to Eastern. We are running out of locations here in the Light World to check, so this is obviously the play unless he wants to go to the desert and check the sole location of Agina's cave.
Yep, he's going to also check Sir Hasala, see what's hiding in his closet here. 3 good items back there, not a bad idea. May even check to see where the green pendant is. Green pendant, Ice Palace. And we find a piece of heart, 10 arrow pen bomb upgrade, and a 5 bomb upgrade. So we're good on bombs, that's for sure. We'll be loaded up by the time we get some more. And indeed, Z4T0X now making his way over to Eastern Palace. Good couple of items hiding in there, 3 unique items. Hopefully he can find them all before having to go into the back end, because right now he cannot clear it unless he finds the bow. All right, so let's get our look into Eastern underway. And starting right off the bat, we get triple bombs. Nice to get those. Don't need them much right now, but bombs can always come to play later. And right now, it looks like Mclagging also making his way over to the Eastern Palace area. Z4T0X finds the burrito, so that increases the chances. He's going to have to probably at least do vanilla big key, because we have not found that yet, so there's 2 places that could be. Indeed, Mclagging pick up his 3 items there from Sir Hassela's closet. And there's the big key, usually the most common place to find it. So we'll see what's in the big chest, and then we'll probably head over to vanilla big key, and we'll go from there. And oops, stop! Hammer time! So Z4T0X now handling his way through the dark rooms. One of the easier dark rooms to deal with if you know what you're doing. You just have to make sure you take out those tentacles and watch out for those anti-fairies. Also, chat pointing out, yep, with Hammer and Power Glove, Agassi dead. No Aga run today. The Canante, no, Ice Palace was marked as Green Pendant because that's what Sir Hassela told us. That is confirmed.
Okay, so I checked out, but I'm back. Have I missed anything big in Eastern Palace?
Actually, yes, we got the hammer.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's big.
Yeah.
All right,
And
so it looks like, yeah, Z4T0X going to make the obvious play here and go to Hype Cave.
I call it the cave formerly known as Hype Cave, given how V26/27 has treated it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Will we see some? Oh, we got a dark check. Misery Mire has red pendant, blue pendant at Thieves Town, Crystal 6 at Skull Woods, Crystal 5 at Turtle Rock.
And the green pendant at Ice Palace, I think.
Yep, that was confirmed by Sir Hassela, so that was no surprise there. So let's see if this cave is indeed Hype Cave or if it's going to be Troll Cave once again. Starting off, we get Powder. Not bad, not bad. What else do we find here? We have Big 20, the Bow, Piece of Heart, and another Piece of Heart. You know what? I call that a Hype Cave.
Yeah, it's pretty hype. I mean, the powder is just a lovely item to have on you. Of course, it can unlock 1 item, but the bow is huge. Obviously, there are 2 crystal dungeons in Pod and Eastern that you need it. So excellent item to get.
Absolutely, absolutely. Z4T0X now going to head the back way around into Village of Outcasts. Probably make a stop by old Stumpy to see what he has, and the Diggy game, of course. Yep, big heart from old Stumpy. Nice to have at this point.
Yeah, so clearly Z4T0X, as you mentioned, is going to go into the Village of Outcasts and check out all the things there are to check out here. Although, without the mitts, it's going to be a little bit difficult.
Yeah. Now, obviously, he can't go directly into Village of Outcasts through the back end because he doesn't have the Titan's mitts, but he can go in through Kakariko Village, so he probably will do that at some point. 300 rupees from the digging game. Alec Baldwin holding some money on him.
So again, still looking for those boots.
Yep, the boots are the big item that we're looking for right now. So let's see. Z4T0X going to head back over to Eastern. I think he's making the play on Pod.
As Mclagging getting his check of the Dark World, sort of surveying the scene, deciding what he's going to do next. Clearly, the next move for him is to go straight over to Hype Cave, the Redeeming Cave. The Cave of Redemption.
Yep. And yeah, our restreamer Zelda is pointing out forces double dip into Eastern Palace because you had to get the hammer to go to the Dark World in order to get the bow. So this was a forced double dip. This seed being a little trollier this early on in the race.
Now, I was out of the loop for just a moment. I'm wondering, is there an extra item to get here in Eastern? Because otherwise, I'm kind of wondering if it would have been better to go into the Dark World and check out Pod, maybe swing by Pyramid.
Well, Eastern Palace is a crystal dungeon, and since they don't have the mirror, it's better to just do Eastern now, and then use the teleport, use the warp to go to Dark World and do Pod afterwards. So I can kind of see this being the smarter play.
Yeah, fair enough. That walk back from Eastern after Pod, beg your pardon, after finishing it through the maze to go check out Pyramid, that can be a pretty big time sink.
Yeah, and Chad pointing out map and compass both have been found in Eastern Palace. So most likely the Armos Knights have the last item, so all the more reason to get this done. Z4T0X stocking up on arrows right now as he gets ready to head to the back end. Now, bear in mind, this is technically a sequence break because they do not have the lamp. This is one of the trickier dark runes because you have to be able to figure out where the Igor is to take him out in order to get his key. So this will be a little tricky for him.
Yeah, looks like he got it there.
Yep, had very little trouble with that. Mclagging picking up his 300 rupees from the digging game. He'll be saving and quitting. So now Z4T0X going to be... He's heading... Oh, he was resetting so he could reset his location, know where he is.
Ooh, taking some damage down to 1 heart.
Yep, but he's right there. If he wants to, he can jump into the pots and get some health, which is exactly what he's going to do. He's going to get himself some fairies to heal up.
Yeah, good call on that. Z4T0X, obviously a good call to him as well.
And no, chat, the randomizer does not require sequence breaks. The logic is set up so that you can do this without sequence breaking. So this is just him jumping ahead of the game. Still not a bad call to make, but not necessary.
Yeah, interesting to see the Mclaggings making the exact same call. Really, these two players are on the same page. Z4T0X, the only difference really is that he's about, I don't know, a minute and a half ahead.
Indeed, but given how much trouble he had there in that dark room, if Mclagging can catch that back up, he could, if he can get through that faster, he can catch up. But nonetheless, Z4T0X now starting his fight with the Armos Knights. Shouldn't have too much trouble. He's setting up for the quick kill. Given that he doesn't have silver arrows, gets it very quickly, only a big 20, but he gets his first crystal.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does after this. I imagine since he's in the area, he's just going to go down to the warp and take a look at Pod. Obviously, he can, complete it having the hammer and the bow. He may have to go through a dark room for the big key, but really pretty trivial for runners of this caliber.
Indeed, all of our runners very well skilled, know what they're doing. That's why they're in these group stages. It's why they've made it as far as they have in this tournament. So you can imagine they should be able to handle it no problem. Mclagging using the Ether Medallion to not only to take out those tentacles, but also to figure out where the Igor is so he can set that up very quickly. Very smart play.
Yeah, an interesting play. One that I've not seen before. Now, he is having some difficulty here. There, I think he got it. Yep. There's the key.
Yep, he's got his key, and he knows where he is. He's got a good amount of health, so he is going to be able to walk right on through. Gives him a small chance to catch up, though not much. Meanwhile, Z4T0X indeed making his play into Palace of Darkness. So he is well on his way.
Yeah, chat asking what Armos had. Armos has had 20 rupees, so not a big find for Z4T0X and soon to be Mclagging. And again, the play into pod here, I mean, I don't know that it's a bad play, but it almost feels like when you get Dark World access, even if it takes an inconvenient route, you know, from Sanctuary into Kakariko, into the portal, seems like, you know, diving into the Village of Outcasts as soon as possible is usually a pretty good idea.
Indeed. Z4T0X paying off everyone's favorite extortion is Kiki the Monkey, and he is on his way into the Palace of Darkness. Going to start on the left side, try to see that I can get the key early. Thankfully, he is not going to be bow locked, so this will be very easy for him to traverse no matter what.
Bit of a sloppy Armos fight for Mclagging, just as chat is marveling over his ingenious deployal of Ether.
Yep. But he takes out the Armos Knights, gets his first crystal. Both of our runners are now well on their way here. This race has only just begun, folks. And of course, as Dr. Bob Task has called this, we're in the Mullet Mansion because all the keys are usually located in the front of the dungeon and all of the items in the back. So it's business in the front, party in the back.
And again, Mclagging, suffice it to say, just lagging behind Z4T0X a little bit, looking like he's going to make the exact same play. You know, and so that's kind of advantage to Z4T0X because he's obviously ahead and Mclagging isn't checking any locations that Z4T0X isn't checking first.
Indeed. Yeah, hopefully he'll have some chances to catch up here as this race continues. One gamble or one mistake can change this race in a heartbeat with how close these guys are. So don't count Mclagging out just yet.
Oh yeah, we're not even a half hour in. Now we've uncovered a lot of items, but still the location of the boots is vexing these runners. And you know, if they hold out too much longer, it'll become really, you might say, trolly.
Z4T0X now working on the back of the front end, I guess is the best way to put it. Heading down the conveyor belt here. Gets through very easily. No damage. Always nice. Ooh, the flute!
Ooh. That is a good find, because now the logic would allow them to go up to Death Mountain.
Yep, and given they have the hammer, all he needs is the mirror, and the whole wealth of items will open up. So they're looking for the hook shot or the hammer to really explore Death Mountain at this point. And of course, we are still searching for those illustrious boots to see if we can get even further in. So where are they hiding? There's the big key. Z4T0X gonna check this room back here. Finds big 20. Probably going to have to check the downstairs dark room, and then, of course, the dark maze. Probably one of the worst dark rooms in the game, given that you have to navigate that maze into complete darkness. Not fun at all.
Yeah, I'm just sort of thinking here what the next play would be after pod. The flute, again, great item to pick up, and it does take you up to Death Mountain, but you can only get the item inside Spectacle Rock. Unless you do get that mirror, for instance. So I think the next play has got to be, you know, save and quit Sanctuary and then down to Kakariko into the Village of Outcasts.
Makes sense to me. Z4T0X finding the shovel downstairs. That opens up a couple of spots. Most notably, of course, the Sacred Grove with its dig spot. So that's nice to find. But let's see what we have here in the dark maze. We got 2 items in there, plus, of course, the big chests. Yep, found the compass.
Yeah, that shovel is interesting. Of course, we did pick up the powder in Hype Cave a little bit ago, and that's another item that you can go on a fetch quest trying to track down those boots.
Yep, Z4T0X now. What is he doing? Is he going to set up? No, I think he's setting up for a bomb jump here. Yeah, he is setting up for the big bomb jump here. This is one of the trickier bomb jumps to do, but he gets it, gets his map, and now he's going to check that last chest in the dark room before probably heading over to fight the Halmasar King.
That was a really impressive bomb jump, too, because he only used like one pause buffer to get himself into position. Very nicely done.
Yeah, like I said, that is a very tricky bomb jump to do. And never a necessary one, but if you can do it, it can save you some time. So very well done there by Z4T0X as he heads through the dark maze once more to finish things up.
Oh, and he takes a death. Did he get that last item?
Yeah, unfortunately. And he's going to have to go back for it. So that's going to cost him a little bit. That cost him the time that he had. Unfortunately, that we'll see if that turns out to come back to haunt him.
It may have been intentional. I just didn't see if he got both chests inside.
Looks like he may have, and he's pretty much done. Yeah, the chat's saying he did get both, so he is pretty much ready to move on. Thankfully, he's got the cane, so he will not need to use the statue here. He can go really quickly through, gets the door open, and he's on his way to the king.
Yeah, it's interesting that Samaria strat there. You actually sometimes I feel like that's one of the more not often forgotten, but more forgotten than other strats in terms of saving yourself 5 seconds. I think people just kind of forget they have Samaria at this point in the game. So used to maybe playing the vanilla game and not having Samaria in the Palace of Darkness.
All right, so Z4T0X now heading into the last set of dark rooms here for Palace of Darkness. Thankfully, this one's not too difficult to deal with. Okay, so we didn't see it earlier, but we saw it now. Mclagging getting a piece of heart. That was the other item in the dark maze. So if Z4T0X didn't get it, not going to be too far behind there.
Yeah, and if he also intends to death warp, he's got a little ways to go. So much health, but he's out. Going to check the big chests. And he's back in. Turtle room for Z4T0X. Looks like it's going pretty well.
Yeah, it's a tricky room to do when you can't see what you're doing here. And this is especially going to be, this is kind of the dark room I wouldn't normally do. But then again, I'm not the one running this race.
Yeah, it's always a luxury. If you don't have lamp, at least if you have fire rod, that can be really useful as Z4T0X now making his way into Halmasar for what should be a pretty routine fight.
Absolutely. 17 hits from the hammer to break the mask. Few hits. Mclagging taken to death. So Z4T0X now going to extend his lead even further with that. And nicely done. Very clean fight there for Z4T0X. Didn't have any trouble with that. And he gets Bombos!
Ooh, interesting. So, that could give you access to Ice Palace if you had the mitts.
Yeah, and that increases the chances of not needing those, not having to worry about those particular dungeons. Misery Mire being a pendant may not worry too much, but now he's got a 2/3 chance of having what he needs for Turtle Rock. So the more the better. All right, so while he's making his call in the next run, let's see what we got here as far as pedestal hype. Obviously, there's silver arrows. That's always a possibility. Hook shot, not really likely due to the fact that Misery Mire is required. Obviously, there's the chance that the boots could be there. That would be trolly as heck. Flippers? No, flippers can't be because of Ice Palace. Both rods, that one's a given. Could be the Quake Medallion. Nope, never mind. They're the flippers from the dig spot.
Ooh, that's worth.
And Magic Mirror could also be possible, since that's not required for any of our dungeons. The only place that would be required is Swamp Palace, which is a crystal. So those, we have a pretty decent pedestal hype here right now.
Yeah, there's a good assortment of items that can be on there. As you said, the mirror is one. Of course, a medallion can be on there. Hook shot. Yeah, there's a host of items, including fire rod. Now that we have bombos, Ice Palace is completable without the fire rod.
True, very true. Both rods could be there, because that would be very interesting. But Z4T0X now going to head into the Bat Cave because he's got the powder
on our fetch quest here. One of them paid off. Let's see if this one does too.
Indeed. What does the bat have for us? And it is Big 20.
I never understood why people called it the Big 20.
I think it's because before the randomizer, that was the largest money amount you could technically find. Though these days we have 50 and 300, the 50, 100, and 300 rupees added in as well. Either that or it could be a joke. Meanwhile, everyone rise for the Link to the Past national anthem, ladies and gentlemen. Z4T0X is activating his flute.
Yeah, apparently humor is lost on me, so oops.
And ladies and gentlemen, the goose is loose.
Yeah, so Z4T0X unlocking that flute, and I was keeping track. Mclagging finishing off Helmasaur roughly 3 minutes after Z4T0X. So Z4T0X's lead has increased, bit by bit here. And for Mclagging to get back into this, obviously he needs to go get those flippers very soon. But in addition to that, he probably needs to make a divergence here and make a play that Z4T0X is not making.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. It's going to come down to what gambles you make and what pays off. So Mclagging needs to do something big and hope that it pays out in his favor in order to catch up and take the lead over here from Z4T0X. Z4T0X now heading into Skull Woods. Also, 2 unique items in there. We'll see what he finds.
Yeah, right now Z4T0X, with his lead, of course, he does not have the luxury of knowing that he has a lead. But playing it pretty by the book, he did dip into pod, which at the time I didn't know was the right play. But, getting flute was pretty big. So, and also the shovel, which led to the flippers. So clearly a good play. But now he's going to a more, tried and true bread and butter route here.
Indeed. Mclagging now also going to check the pyramid to see what it's hiding.
Ooh, this could
He's going to make that gamble now.
Just a single green rupee, I think.
Yeah, not much. Z4T0X now going to head into this room. If you don't have enough keys, you have to go this way. But if you can get around it, you want to, because there's guaranteed to be a small key in that chest. Because that way you don't get locked out of this room. Nice getting around that pit there, getting a small key for his trouble. I don't think we found the big key yet. Oh, no, he has found the big key. That's right, he did. So he's going to check the big chest here with a bomb jump. Mclagging heading to the dig spot, going to be getting his flippers very shortly. Big 20 from the big chest.
Yeah, that Moldorm was trying really hard to guard that chest, but alas, he is gone.
Indeed. And I think we still have one more unique item inside of Skull Woods. So is it going to be, if it's not in this next set of rooms, then he is going to have to come back once he gets the fire rod to complete this dungeon.
And that room right there is always so much easier with this Canis Amaria. I mean, a lot of these guys pull it off no problem, but, the level of effort is just, zero.
Indeed. Big 20 from the chest. That's both unique items. Skull Woods being pretty empty on this seed. So he is going to go into the Village of Outcasts and then probably take a drop in on Thieves Town. But actually, first, he's going to stop over and check the bumper cave. He's got the cape, so he can check it. And just a big 20 up there.
All right, so once again, Mclagging making the exact same plays as Z4T0X and, doing well enough. But if he's going to somehow jump ahead, he might have to make a play here. Going to unlock that flute. And here comes the wealth of the Village of Outcasts.
Indeed. And to answer your question in the chat, yes, blind pedestal pulls can be in the logic. In fact, sometimes the book itself could be on the pedestal. So you never know.
A little bit of indecision for Mclagging, and now he's fluting away. He's going up to Death Mountain. This is a bit of a break here to go in and get the old man.
Probably won't get much for it since we don't have the lamp, but we shall see. Nonetheless, Death Mountain is a risky play. If he doesn't find the mirror, he won't be able to do much up here, admittedly. Z4T0X now finding Ice Rod in the chess game. That's interesting.
Yeah, once again, that's a really nice item to find if you're one of the runners, because it's one that you worry about when you see that Turtle Rock is a pendant or a crystal dungeon. But in a pretty accessible location, so obviously I don't expect Mclagging to, not have it for very long.
Exactly. Z4T0X entering Thieves Town now, finding the big key early. We've got 4 chests in the front. I think there's at least 3 unique items in here. So let's see what else he finds floating around. Buy bomb upgrade. Still got to find something.
And we get a look inside Spectacle Rock bottle on top. They still don't have a bottle, interestingly.
That is surprising. And piece of heart inside a Spectacle Rock cave. So Death Mountain run not paying off for him, unfortunately. But it looks like he's also going to make the play on Spike Cave. He's got the cape. He's got half magic. So he should be able to go through it without too much trouble.
Yeah, I did neglect Spike Cave for just a moment there. But, yeah, well worth the try here with half magic.
All right, so Mclagging now getting through Spike Cave without too much trouble. Fight those boots! What are those?
What are those? My God. That is huge.
That is a huge call. Mclagging making the gamble he needed to make. This could be the turning point.
Wow. I mean, the play of plays right there.
No kidding. What a call by Mclagging. This race just got interesting.
And so I have to admit, my attention was turned away for a little bit from Z4T0X. I didn't get the remainder of those first 4 chests. Obviously, the big key was going to be one of them. But it doesn't look, based on our tracker, as though we found much.
Yeah, but nonetheless, Mclagging now picking up his Titan's bits from the library. No surprise, he goes right for those. But yeah, this just people saying it wasn't interesting before. It was curious, but it was looking pretty standard. But Mclagging making a gamble that pays off huge. This just got exciting.
Yeah, Mclagging lacing him up, ready to go now. So now the outstanding items, given that we know where the boots are, obviously Z4T0X does not have them yet, and for his sake, hopefully he makes that trip soon. But, the outstanding items now are Fire Rod, Hookshot, Mirror. So swamp is out of the question for these runners.
Indeed, Z4T0X picking up the compass from the maiden's chest. Since he's got the hammer, he's going to check the big chest. Hopefully he finds something there. He hasn't found much in Spike Cave from what I can tell. But at this point, oh, there's the mirror!
Wow. That paid off for Z4T0X. That was and you know what? That's really good for him because that's likely going to send him right up to Death Mountain here pretty soon.
Indeed, and if he's smart enough to check that Spike Cave, that might reduce the chance of Mclagging taking the lead back. So yeah, that was a lucky call there. He probably would have fallen behind at that rate. This might send him on his way if he's smart enough to check the Spike Cave while he's up in Death Mountain.
Yeah, I suspect that he is. And yeah, good fortune for Z4T0X there because, again, that's an item that's going to direct him to Death Mountain, knowing that he can get up to Hera with the mirror now. And so it's really going to become part of his route. For Mclagging, finding the boots was big, obviously, and I don't think he regrets it at all. But unfortunately, now that he has the Titan's mitts, that just opens up a whole lot of other options for him. And now thieves may not be quite as appealing.
Indeed. But Z4T0X picking up a piece from Blind, getting the blue pendant. Not sure if that's going to be a good come into play later. That might still come. That may be unnecessary, but we shall see. And Z4T0X going to warp back to the light world. Probably going to head right to Death Mountain, as you said. This race, wow, we are off to a fun race. Sure enough, that's where he's going.
All right.
However, This
is important for Mclagging. I mean, so Z4T0X, again, making that play. He'll have the boots here in a second. So, in due time, he's going to have the mitts and things will be evened up. Does Mclagging go into Thieves Town? He's going to check the bumper cave first. It might be tempting for him to flute down to the desert and check out Meyer and the Meyer shed. And he can't check Checkerboard Cave, but...
Indeed. Now, the question is, does Z4T0X go into Spike Cave? Because, like you said, because he has a mirror, he could go into Hera, and with the hammer, he may check East Death Mountain first. The Spike Cave may not come till later.
He's got the hammer out. I think he's going to Spike Cave. Yeah. It's a Spike Cave play for Z4T0X.
Yep. He's okay. He made the right call. He's going into Spike Cave. He is going to be very ecstatic to see what's hiding in there.
Wow. Yeah, great call. And Mclagging opening up Thieves Town, so clearly he has intentions of going in here in just a moment. So, it's going to take him a little while to get to the mirror, but things are going to be pretty even by the time he does.
Indeed. Z4T0X picking up those boots, and he is heading out of there. He's probably going to go right over to the library, and he's going to be picking up his Titan's mitt. So yeah, what little catch up Mclagging did, Z4T0X is closing that gap up fast.
And Z4T0X actually going right back up the mountain. It looks like in a sequence break, get the item from the old man. But I suspect after this, he will be going into Hera. And then
makes sense. He doesn't need the Titan's mitts right this second. He knows where they are. So he will get them eventually, but right now he wants to get everything else done and maybe find a way to route those Titan's mitts in where it'd be more efficient, which is not a bad call to make.
Although this is an interesting call, now that he's got the boots to get the mitts and open up a whole lot of other locations. The sequence break to the old man at this point is a little strange.
Yeah, it comes down to whether or not he wants to go to Dark Death Mountain at any point, because, of course, there's the Super Bunny Cave. He may come back when he has the hook shot, so he can do Hook Shot Cave as well. So that might be what he's thinking at this point, but nonetheless, he is heading over back to the Dark World. He's going to probably mirror here, grab his bottle, and head into Tower of Hera.
And, not just a bottle, but a bottle with a B. It's always nice.
B strat's always good strats. And so indeed, he does head into the Tower of Hera, heading downstairs, finding the small key. Ooh, that's... If he doesn't find the big key in the other chest, it's a basement run. And, yep, we've got a basement run. But he is opting not to do it.
Oh, he doesn't have a fire source yet.
That's very true. So he's going to flew down there. He's not even going to check East Death Mountain. He's going to head back to Kakariko and pick up his Titan's mitts.
Yeah, he's going to check Sick Kid first, just out of convenience sake, getting that bottle. But I think now he must be, in the single arrow.
Single arrow.
I think he might be regretting not getting the boots, or the mitts, I should say, immediately after getting his boots.
Yeah, because now he'll have to go back, but this means he'll be able to check both East and Dark Death Mountain, which is not a bad idea at this point.
All right, so as he picks up the mitts there, our runners, in terms of item collection, they're all square, and Mclagging is headed to the basement right now up Thieves Town. Going to pick up a heart first, which is probably a good idea, even with red mail.
Indeed, Z4T0X now heading to Desert, finds a bottle on the ledge, and decides, nope, that's not going to work for me. So he's going to head over to Misery Mire, probably at least check the medallion on the off chance he has to go back in there later, and then check the Mire Shack and Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if he takes the dip into Mire here, because now with the boots, it is in the logic that he can access Mire, even though he doesn't have the hook shot.
Actually, he cannot, because it's Quake Medallion, which he does not have, so that is out of the question. And both arrow upgrades in the Mire Shack, and of course, because Mire is a pendant dungeon, that is not going to be on the pedestal. So that means there will not be any medallions on the pedestal.
All right, Mclagging got his mirror now.
Yep, both our runners pretty evened up here. Checkerboard Cave with Tempered Sword. Ooh, that's always nice to find.
Yeah, that is really nice to find.
And it looks like he's going to go the back way into Desert Palace. 2 unique items in there, plus it is a crystal dungeon. He needs to find a fire source or he can't full clear it, but let's see what he finds inside.
This blind fight getting a little iffy. Fortunately, Mclagging has the red mail, though.
Indeed. Small key on the torch, but thankfully he has the boots, so he is good to go. Still needs to find the big key so he can check the big chest. We'll see where he finds that here. There's the big key. So he's probably going to check the big chest and then head over to the right side of Desert. And it looks like Mclagging's going to go to pick up Benjamin the Frog.
Yeah, Mclagging not hesitating to make use of his newly minted Titan's mitts. Is going to do this, likely the hammer pegs. So it's going to get a couple of nice things done that Z4T0X decided not to check while he had the opportunity. And Z4T0X, meanwhile, will get a peek at these 2 items. Or potential items, I should say. As, of course, one is the map.
Yep. Also, I had to make a correction. Jeremiah was the bullfrog, not Benjamin. My mistake. But Mclagging now dropping off, gets 50 rupees from the swordsmith. Not a bad deal. 10 bucks for 50. Now he's going to pick up the purple chest, going to drop that off to the thief. And see what he has. Meanwhile, Z4T0X heading back up to Death Mountain. Still doesn't have a fire source yet, so he's going to check East Death Mountain at this point. Mclagging also going to check the mirror cave while he's here, making sure he drops the chest since he can't take that with him inside. And what's in the mirror cave? Big Heart. He's opting to pick it up because he can always use a little extra health. And I think we got 10 Arrow on the floating island. And he's going to head over to check Turtle Rock to see what medallion he needs.
All right, let's have a look.
Turtle Rock is Ether. He can open that right up. Piece of heart from the thief. Now, he can go into Turtle Rock, but he cannot full clear because he does not have the fire rod, so he won't be able to get too far into it. He's probably just going to open it up for now.
Yeah, he'll only be able to access one chest, so it's certainly not worth it at this point. Meanwhile, we have a check on Agina's cave. Did Z4T0X check this?
No, I don't believe he did.
Wow. And, of course, this is something that gets forgotten about so often if the seed gets off to a hot start. But still, there could be something important here, obviously.
Indeed. Also, thank you to Kaya Katsuki for the Twitch Prime sub. Piece of heart from Agnes K. So thank you, Kaya Katsuki, for the sub. 6 months resub. We appreciate the support. All right, now Z4T0X going into the hookshot cave. Now, with the boots, he can check the first chest, but he's probably not going to find much there. But let's see. He finds just a piece of heart, as I suspected.
And an interesting point made in chat about the possibility of Fire Rod being in Turtle Rock. I was incorrect. If you have the right key layout, it is possible to progress deeper into the dungeon. However unlikely that might be, but it is possible. You don't necessarily have to go to that Fire Rod locked room on the right.
But given the odds of the layout being the way you want it to, it's usually that's a last resort kind of thing. If you don't have any other choice, probably better to check elsewhere and make sure you have the Fire Rod going in. Finding 10 arrows in the spiral cave, so not much there, but we've got the Paradox Cave coming up. 7 potential items here. This is what, and with the way the logic has usually been, I like to call this the true V27 hype cave, because this is usually where all the good stuff hides.
Yeah, a lot of items to check, so you think that something good should come out of this.
50 rupees in a heart container, not a bad start. Not great, but not terrible either. And thankfully, that tempered sword has no trouble there. We've got a big 20, a piece of heart, 5 rupees. Not looking good here. Triple bombs, and a fresher price shield.
Nothing big so far for Z4T0X, which right now is boding well for Mclagging simply because he's sinking a little bit of time into areas already explored by Z4T0X and areas that, in fact, did not yield a lot of worth. And Z4T0X missing that bomb jump a little bit.
Yep, kind of have to go the long way around to get back upstairs. But where does he go from here? I mean, is he? Oh, he's probably going into Dark Death Mountain. He didn't check Super Bunny Cave. Oh no, he did. He did.
All right, Mclagging is going to progress a little bit deeper into desert. Meanwhile, wow.
Z4T0X making the gamble on Turtle Rock.
Woo. This is interesting.
It's a very risky play. Honestly, I would have probably opted for Ice Palace because he's got the Bombos medallion. He could clear it. And there's a better chance of the Fire Rod being there than here. So let's see if his gamble pays off.
So interestingly, credit to somebody in chat for pointing this out. I'm not clever enough to do this, but because the shovel was locked in a dark room in pod, that means that technically, by the logic at least, the flippers, shouldn't be accessible yet. Now, that's not a great reason to not go into Ice Palace if you think there's items in there, but it is something to keep in mind.
That is true, and there's still a few overworld spots they haven't checked yet. King's Tomb, I think, and the Graveyard Cave being the two most obvious examples. I would have checked, at least made sure to check those first. There's the lamp!
Ooh, wow.
Now that he's got that, Z4T0X is noping right on out of there.
Yeah, so it paid off because he can complete Hera now. And I think that's probably what he's going to go do. So, yeah, I mean, that's actually a pretty huge play. If the Fire Rod isn't somewhere accessible for Mclagging, that's going to make things a little bit difficult. He'll have to make the same play to complete Hera. And, yeah, this could be a game breaker right now for Z4T0X. Although Mclagging is up on Death Mountain, and that's a decent indication of the possibility of picking up the lamp. I don't know.
We shall see. Z4T0X now got to head into the basement, probably prepping his coffee break. There we go. Bathroom break strats. Invincibility frames keeps the tiles from hitting you. And you know what? Speaking of bricks, I'll be right back. I got to take care of something important. 2 seconds.
Well, while Shades is taking care of something important, I invite chat to speculate on what that could be. Get your guesses in now. So Mclagging, not having been up to the Tower of Hera yet, going to make this dive. It will be a short trip, though, for him, as he will not be able to progress after he picks up this map, given that the big key is locked right here. Z4T0X about to pick it up. So Mclagging likely to head on over to the eastern part of Death Mountain now and make a lot of the plays Z4T0X just made. The big question at this point in terms of maintaining the pace is whether or not he's going to make that interesting dive into Turtle Rock without the Fire Rod.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, folks.
Well, we welcome you back. Mclagging dipped into Hera. Short trip, obviously, didn't have a fire source. And he's going to go look at Turtle Rock now. We'll see if he makes the gamble to dive in. With a lot of the chest on East Death Mountain unchecked, I don't think he will at this point, but we shall see.
Indeed, Z4T0X now setting up bomb jump here, gets across. Hook shot! That opens up a few places here.
Yeah, so now Swamp is fully clearable. That's pretty big.
That might be their next play here, because that would be the most obvious place to go. So Z4T0X now going to head up and take on Trolldorm. Yes, we know he's called Moldorm, but if you played this game, you know why we call him Trolldorm. But thankfully, with the Tempered Sword, very quick fight. Takes him out, and he gets Fire Shield for his troubles. Not bad.
Yeah, I mean, really a consolation compared to the fact that he was able to pick up that crystal. Getting the hook shot a little bit earlier was a pretty significant reward, and he thanks Moldorm for his trouble.
Yep, and gonna float on in there. I might have been more tempted to at least jump over to Hookshot Cave first, but that's just me. Z4T0X now gonna head back over to Misery Mire, it looks like.
He's going to take the back door into Desert with his newfound lamp.
That's fair point, fair point.
I'm trying to recall. I know we found the map in Desert. I think we may have also found the compass, so I think that means that Landmolus is holding.
Yep, so certainly not a bad call to make here. Either way, it's a crystal dungeon, so he's going to have to go through here eventually. Probably better to get it out of the way while he knows he can.
Yeah, so for Mclagging, I think that we're just a fire rod away from go mode.
At this point, you're right. Yeah, pretty much. Once if we get fire rod, we're go mode.
Yeah, for Z4T0X, beg your pardon. Mclagging still has some plays he needs to make, namely getting into Hera somehow. If he somehow finds the fire rod before Z4T0X, then he can do it that way. question in chat if Fire Rod can be on the pedestal. Yes, it can. Ice Palace does not require the Fire Rod. It's really nice to have it while you're in there. Misery Mire does not require a Fire Rod. Again, nice to have there. There's some lamps or stanchions that you have to light. And yeah, Thieves Town obviously completed.
Yeah, at this point, the question comes down to is what they find first. If they find the Quake Medallion, that's probably going to send them on a pedestal run, especially if they find the book.
Some short-lived Ice Rod strats on Lamel there for Zatox. I think maybe momentarily going for a bit. Oh,
Silvers!
Woo! That's a nice comfort item. Certainly not required, but that makes a lot of things a lot easier.
Indeed, indeed. So very nice find by Zatox, getting the silver arrows and his next crystal. He's only got 3 more to go. So he's off to a really good run right now. This is Zatox's race right now.
Yeah, Mclagging chasing down this validation arrow after he picked up his bottle. He actually got his from Desert. He neglected to pick up the bee in a bottle on top of Spectacle Rock.
And it looks like Zatox now going to make the play on Swamp Palace. Definitely not the wrong call to make because they can full clear it at this point, and it is a crystal. More specifically, yeah. Oh no, it's not one of the other crystals. It's one of the regular crystals. So we're saving the Fairy Cave for last. It looks like because those are the only 2 crystals done after this.
Yeah, Pyramid Fairy is going to be entirely optional and entirely unnecessary. It seems because completing Skull Woods and Turtle Rock are going to require the Fire Rod, so the Fire Rod's not going to be at the Pyramid Fairy.
Most likely not. The most we could probably find there is either the Butter Sword or the Riot Shield, which we really wouldn't need at this point, though. Butter Sword wouldn't be bad to have. Mclagging now checking the Bonk Cave. He's not checking that yet, and we get bombs out of that. So he's checking some overworld spots before he goes forward.
Yeah. This is good. I mean, if he uncovers the Fire Rod while Zatox is scouring dungeons for it, even if Zatox is completing these dungeons, it gives Mclagging a sliver of hope here, because I think the likelihood of him going back up Death Mountain to check out, to dive into T-Rock without the Fire Rod, slim to none.
Indeed. So once again, it comes down to what gambles they make. Fairy in a bottle for Zatox. Yeah, like I said, it comes down to what gambles they make and which ones pay off. I've said this dozens of times, and it's never been wrong. Big 20 inside the Graveyard Cave.
Yeah, those kind of statements are the best because they're impossible to disprove. I use them myself all the time.
And now Mclagging got to check out King's Tomb. Meanwhile, Zatox flooding that part of the Swamp Palace. Made sure he got the key because you can't get locked out if you don't get that key. And we find Big Heart from the King's Tomb.
Yeah, of course, resetting Swamp if you do lock the big key or sink the big key is real pain. You have to leave the area, not just leave the dungeon, but move a screen over from the area of the dungeon just to reset everything.
And Mclagging gonna go head over to Catfish. That has not been checked yet either, so there's another possibility. So he's checking everything because he's not found any fire source yet. He does not know he's gonna have to go into Turtle Rock to find the lamp. So that's just giving Zatox more and more lead unless he finds the Fire Rod. All right, so let's see. Catfish has just a 5-bomb upgrade. Not much for him there. And I don't think he checked Zora earlier, did he?
He must not have. Although it's curious that if he didn't check Zora, that he did check the Waterfall Fairy, apparently, because otherwise he would have dived right in there.
Yeah, no kidding. Zatox now checking out the rest of the swamp. He did not check left side, but there's the big key. But he is opting to not go back for the big chest, so he's gonna he's essentially go-moding this. He may have to double dip if he doesn't find anything. Big 20, so let's see what Argus has.
Meanwhile, Mclagging, really, obviously he's searching for several items, but the one that he really needs to find is the fire rod.
Yep. Either that or he's going to fall behind because he's going to have to go into Turtle Rock at some point to get the lamp. Z4T0X now heading into Argus. He's got the tempered sword, so that's going to make it a pretty decent fight for him. And if he's good with his bow, he got silver arrows. He can one-shot Argus with that. Which appears to be what he's going to do.
Ooh, and it looks like Mclagging might be making the play into the swamp without the hook shot.
That's going to cost him big. Triple bombs from Argus. This means we're likely going to see a double dip into swamp since there are at least a few items left. It's not going to cost him too much time, only a little bit, especially since Mclagging's going to end up double dipping swamp anyway. So yeah, this is right now. This is Z4T0X's race.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but we revisit that play, diving into T-Rock without a fire source, or without the fire rod specifically, and getting that one key, advancing to the chain jumps, and discovering the lamp there is a really amazing lamp location, and just a really bold call by Z4T0X, and it paid dividends.
Absolutely. So let's see what we find as we check the left half of swamp. He's going to check the big chest first. There's the compass. So that means the majority of the remaining items are in the left side of swamp.
So we'll get a look here at the left side of swamp, as you mentioned. Yeah, don't forget that key goes back for it. It'll be interesting to see if the fire rod, or perhaps a fetch quest item like the mushroom that would lead to the fire rod, if that's not here in swamp here on the left side, where does Z4T0X go after this? Probably Ice Palace?
Most likely. The thing he does not want to find right now is Quake, because that would lead him towards Misery Mire, which might point him toward the pedestal at this point. So that's the one thing he's hoping not to find is the Quack Medallion.
Well, Misery Mire could also have the fire rod potentially. So anything. I mean, obviously, if he gets Quake, then he has. It makes things a bit complicated because he has the decision of, do I go to Misery Mire or do I go to Ice? And that just muddies the water a little bit for him. So I think you're right. I don't think he really wants to find Quake here if he can help it.
Exactly. That's either way. It's still not something he wants to find, but. You're agreed. It's not going to guarantee pedestal run, but it definitely increases the odds, and that's the last thing he wants. But we shall see. Z4T0X is now going to be checking both chests here. First chest he finds, just a 5-bomb upgrade. Did he not check the other chest? Oh, you know what? It's probably just the map.
Yeah, it must be.
It had to have been the map. He keeps tracking his items. So Swamp Palace not paying off. So that means he's going to head to Ice Palace.
Yeah, and so because we did find that cane so early, the game was actually begging you to make perhaps ill-advised dive into T-Rock to find the lamp, to go to Pod, to get the shovel, to get the flippers, and then we'll see if that leads us to anything here in Ice Palace.
Indeed. Thankfully, they have the half magic, so Bombos won't be too much of a magic feed. They'll be able to get through this without too much trouble. That's always nice to have. Let's see what we find here in the cold, cold dungeon of pain.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, Bombos was on Helmasaur.
Yes, I know it was definitely dropped by a boss, and I believe it was Helmasaur. So, yeah, this logic expected a lot of back and forth from these runners. Thankfully, sequence breaking minimized a lot of that, but, oh, man, that would have been painful if you had to go by the logic. Butter Sword!
Flash that buttery gold.
Indeed. Wow, so they have Butter Sword from here on out, and given the bosses they have yet to fight, that's going to be really helpful. Yeah, frozen butter. That's a good way. Ooh. Don't think I've ever had frozen butter before. I don't know if I'd be down for that.
You know, I can't say for sure, but I think if you were to deep fry butter, you would first freeze the butter.
That makes sense. Then again, I'm not a poutine kind of guy, so frozen butter doesn't sound as appealing to me.
Yeah, is there anybody from Wisconsin in the chat who can confirm?
Mclagging actually is going to check that other chest. And indeed, there was the burrito. So yeah, Z4T0X made the right call there. He was tracking his items much better than we were.
All right, so Mclagging is, there's still some options, I believe, but none of them seem terribly appealing for him.
No, he's going to follow Z4T0X into Ice Palace, it looks like. So we're going to be seeing maybe a little high five, but not likely. Z4T0X going to head downstairs here. I don't think we found the big key yet, but we might see it in this room. Now, normally I would agree with the chat that Ice Palace being a pendant dungeon is a waste, but bear in mind, it is the green pendant. So Sir Hassela may have something. So not as much of a time waste as you would think. I've seen Sir Hassela pay off big time more often than you can count. So not the wrong play to make. Finding big 20 in the big chest. Still haven't found anything of significance just yet.
Yeah, I believe in a seed we saw yesterday evening, Sahasrahla had the bow.
Yes, he did. That was actually a race I commentated last night. He had the bow. So, yeah, you definitely don't discount Sir Hassela at all. This race, this could change in a heartbeat. We'll see what the rest of Ice Palace has to offer here. Shout out to Nine Knackers. The real question is, where's the boomerang?
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, the boomerang is essential to that one strat in Ganon's Tower just outside of the firebar room. You know, without it, I think a lot of our runners might be lost.
It's not essential. There's a couple of ways you can get around that, especially since they have the Cane of Samaria. I wouldn't count that as an essential item, but it's nice to have that nonetheless. Z4T0X now getting through here, finds triple bombs, not much. Want to take this opportunity to remind you folks, if you're enjoying our runners, please be sure to give both Mclagging and Z4T0X a follow on Twitch. Both these guys running their butts off for you, so please give them your support. Also, did Z4T0X skip a chest? I think he did. Oh, wait, that's all the items, so he's done here. He's going on to Cold Stare.
Yeah, so the question now for Z4T0X is, what do you do after this? Because you're not going to find Quake, you're not going to find the Fire Rod, you're not going to find a Mushroom, you're not going to find anything useful as far as progressing, to the end of the game. He does have several overworld locations that he has not checked. For example, I don't believe he ever got around to doing the Hammer Pigs or the Frogsmith. And so those exist, and then of course Bonk Rocks, King's Tomb. We've seen Mclagging check all of those, and the Fire Rod isn't there.
No, so that might throw Z4T0X off the course, but then again, he might make the smart call to go to Sir Hassela first, and if Sir Hassela has something, that's probably where our next step is.
We got the Sync Bombos going on here.
Yeah, very nicely done. Z4T0X with the Butter Sword gets a good corner, immediately takes out Cold Stare. Very nicely done.
Beauty.
And yeah, picks up the burrito from him. He gets his green pendant. Again, my call would be to go to Sir Hassela and turn that thing in now.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a fair call. You earned the pendant. Why not just go check it out right now? It's hardly a waste of time. And so, I've seen some murmurs in chat. The pedestal hype is still alive. The fire rod could be on the pedestal. The mushroom, which could lead to the fire rod, could be on the pedestal.
Indeed, and I think that's where he's going. He's turning in that green pendant immediately because he figures that's the logic is sending him there. He knows with version 27 and even version 26, if you are getting an item from the logic, that's where it's sending you to go. Turn that pendant in and see what he has before you start going checking random spots.
Turn that green into
a heart container. Oh, the trolling begins. We do not know where the fire rod is.
And with Quake still out in the wind, I mean, it's not like you can go check Mire. So really, there's not a dungeon that they can check right now. It's gonna Z4T0X making the play for Hookshot Cave, which I think in all likelihood is where our fire rod is.
It's the only place I can think of that hasn't been checked yet, at least not fully. So yeah, and the chat calling me out, Shade Seed. That's exactly what this is. It's that one item that just trolls you till the end of time.
I sure hope not. I mean, I would like for our runners to finish, but, the end of time, that's a long time.
That is very true, but you get my mean.
Yeah. Sorry to take things so literally.
Like Drax the Destroyer, everything goes up, everything goes over your head.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so Z4T0X is the top Dark Death Mountain heading to the Hookshot Cave. Pretty strong chance that the fire rod's here.
If not the fire rod, then at least the right path to get to it. So let's see what we got. Right. First off, we get 300 rupees. And we get red meringue.
Oh, there it is.
Not looking good. And there it is! Fire rod! Ladies and gentlemen, Z4T0X has officially entered Go Mode!
Nicely done. That's exciting for Z4T0X. 122 Go Mode. Gonna go quickly do Skull Woods. Should barely take any time at all with Half Magic, Red Mail. This should be elementary for him. And then, Turtle Rock. He's already got silvers. He's already got butter. He's not making any stops along the way.
No, he is in full true Go Mode. Wow. So Hookshot Cave was the call. That is amazing. Yeah. The Z4T0X, this is his race to lose at this point.
Yeah, for sure. So let's review this. The lamp was in Turtle Rock, and you needed that to beat Hera and get the hook shot. So that fire rod was totally lamp locked, and the lamp was in Turtle Rock. Whew. My head hurts.
Yeah, this seed was undoubtedly trolly because you had to go. Yeah, you had to do Turtle Rock to get the lamp. Start Turtle Rock. You had to double dip Turtle Rock, guaranteed. Get the lamp, go to Hera, get the hook shot, go to the Hookshot Cave, and get the fire rod. Not to mention all the other places. So yeah, there's no doubt about it. This seed was trolling them.
Yeah, I mean, it was that was one huge obstacle. There's no doubt, pretty truly. But aside from that, things were pretty fluid. Especially early on, they got a lot of nice items. The boots were a little difficult, but they both nailed that, honestly. Again, because you needed those boots to get the Titan's mitts off the library shelf. So, I think there are trollier seeds in existence, but there's no doubt. Lamp locking the fire rod and the lamp's NT rock, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, but Z4T0X quickly finishing off Mothula with that butter sword. No trolling from that. Gets his 6th crystal. All he's got left is to go back into Turtle Rock. Meanwhile, Mclagging turning in his green pendant, not going to be happy with what he finds. So this has been an interesting seed, to say the least.
I'm genuinely not sure that Mclagging has any other locations he can check now aside from this dip into Turtle Rock, which it appears that he's doing.
Also, since I see the discussion in chat, I do apologize to anyone who I ripped headphones on. Basically, when it comes to hype moments like that, be prepared to turn your volume down with me because I can't help myself. I'm just naturally loud.
Yeah, I'll take the blame. I knew it was coming. I should have warned the chat to turn down their volume.
I don't apologize for being hype. I do not, but yeah.
I would never ask you to stifle yourself.
But it cannot be helped. It's a hype moment. We are in go mode. This is when things get happening. So Z4T0X gonna head back into Turtle Rock, and Mclagging finally going to make the play he should have made a while ago. Fair being fair, he would not have expected it, but man, does this hurt a lot.
Yeah, some synchronized T-Rock play right here. Unfortunately for Mclagging, this is a play that Z4T0X made roughly 30 minutes ago, and it was a bold play, to be sure. There's no doubt that it would not have occurred to a lot of people in that moment with so many locations to check. But wow, did it ever pay off.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, Z4T0X made a huge gamble that paid in spades, and it pretty much gave him this race on a silver platter, because Mclagging still has to complete 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dungeons. So he is, and even though some of them are pretty quick, not all of them are that quick, so he is way behind. This is pretty much Z4T0X's race handed to him.
Ooh, and there is the lamp for Mclagging. A couple of frustration slashes. I feel for him on that one. That's tough.
Yeah, that is painful. I feel for him as well. Z4T0X now going just passing that room. A little high five there on the way out. As Z4T0X is going to be making his way through the rest of Turtle Rock, go moding this. Not an easy dungeon to go mode, but being in the last dungeon is preferred because he's right next to Ganon's tower. He will be able to go right in there.
And almost as if he's been given some time to consider his mistakes, Mclagging's going to have to endure the tile room here. Little little elevator music for him.
Indeed. Z4T0X finding the big key, vanilla big key in that one chest. That's never fun.
So I'm going to take this opportunity to actually check out this bracket, Group C. Let's see what other competitors these guys are going to face. Anytime now. All right,
and
so
there's the Quake Battalion in the big chest. Oh, talk about twisting the knife.
I think Z4T0X, in all fairness, should go back and do Meyer and do a blind pedestal pull, just for the fun of it. All right, so Group C has Z4T0X, Andy, Evanitis, Spooty Biscuit, and Mclagging. And barring something really, really unforeseen and tragic for Z4T0X, he'll be advancing, moving on, or improving his record 1-0. And I believe Andy actually has a match scheduled immediately after this. I think I saw that earlier.
As a matter of fact, he does. Actually, he has a match tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Okay, tomorrow.
All right, so Z4T0X heading into the laser bridge. He needs to find a key to move on, so he's going to find that right off the bat. That's nice. Gets right through. Doesn't have to worry about checking the rest of the chest there. So he's going to be heading right into Trinex.
And Moldorm standing no chance against the Butter Sword there.
No, absolutely not. Very quick kill, gets his fire shield, but he's still got a long way to go to catch up. It's pretty much game over for Mclagging, which is really sad because he is a good runner.
Yeah, but of course it's the group stage, and so he'll have 3 more matches and a chance to, redeem himself a couple of times here. And so not all hope is lost, but yeah, this seed's going to be one that he certainly will want to forget about.
And Z4T0X actually going to use a B strat on Trinex's third phase here. That's almost mean, but a quick kill.
Quick, get the net. Put him back in the bottle.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are heading over to Ganon's Tower. We have a game we like to play. We have 22 potential locations for Ganon's Tower where the big key can be hiding. Get your guesses in where it's going to be. If you are subscribed to any of the Speed Gaming channels or have cheered 250 bits or more to any of our channels, you will have a chance to play our official game and get a shout out from our bot once we discover the big key location. So get your guesses in here. We'll be entering it shortly.
We have a second any number that you decided to go with, Shades?
I'm going to say rando room top left.
Yeah, I went 12, which I usually expect to be the rando room, so we shall see.
All right, so we are in the count. The game, the entries have been made. Let's start the counter, folks. How many do we find? Chest number 1, big key.
Well, that was fast. That was pretty fast.
Yeah, big first chest right off the bat. Shout out to Bamboo Shadow who did correctly guess. That means any chance that Mclagging had to catch back up here with good routing is gone because Z4T0X found it right away. This race is all but over.
Yeah, like honestly, I mean, difficult. I hate getting ahead of myself here, but for all intents and purposes, it is over. Really, just a really well-run seed by Z4T0X, and that one. I wouldn't call it a gamble so much as a hunch, because it really isn't. You're not losing a lot of time by diving into T-Rock and just seeing if you can get, past that first chest and see how far you can go. And it paid off huge. Really, really gutsy play. And, everything else just kind of fell into place before and after that.
Indeed, exactly. It's like I've said already, it's what gambles you make and what pays off. For Z4T0X, he made a big gamble, but it paid off in a big way. So that's pretty much what this came down to. Mclagging now heading into Swamp House to finish that up while Z4T0X is in the gauntlet. So this has been a fun race to watch.
And of course,
also, chat pointing out Mclagging did not check the hookshot cave. That's only going to delay it even further.
Oh my, yeah, he was probably so excited to find his lamp that he just went straight to Hera. Which is exactly, well, of course he had to go get the hookshot from Hera, so it's pretty reasonable, but yeah. Difficult stuff there for Mclagging. And Z4T0X was rolling along pretty well up until that Wizrobe room.
Yeah, but even then it was a minor delay at best. it won't cost them any time at all, really. Like it's barring a Christmas miracle. You know, Z4T0X Scott has this pretty much in the bag.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised a couple of minutes ago looking at the schedule to see that as of now, this is the only race scheduled for today. And I imagine that in the group stage, it's similar to Swiss in that each runner is expected to have at least one race a week. I don't know that for certain, but I'm guessing that's the case.
Something akin to that. We'll be seeing a lot more going in. Z4T0X now heading into Moldorm 2. We'll see how Troll is. Oh, he's getting caught in the corner. He's getting stuck in the corner there, but with one. But thankfully, he was close enough that he could get him through pretty quickly without too much trouble. Will he check the last chest? He will. Big 20. But even if there's only one race on the main channel, don't forget we have our secondary tournament happening over on ALTTP Randomizer, where there are a lot of races are going to be going on, a lot of long races. So definitely check that out if you can. Subscribe to ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 4 for continued randomizer fun. That is where the action is happening this week, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of quality races, entertaining races for sure to be seen there.
Nice triple.
Yeah, nice triple for sure.
With that, Z4T0X takes out Aghanim 2 with no trouble, and now it's time for the big pig. Getting the early hit in there, very nicely done.
And it really is amazing just how much, I mean, Tempered Sword is great. Buttered Sword is also great, but just the difference between specifically Tempered and Master Sword. I mean, Master Sword Ganon, even with the silver arrows, can be a bit laborious, you know, in the opening there, but Tempered makes it pretty easy, and Butter just makes it elementary.
Indeed. Shout out to Samurai Man for the $4.99 resub. Thank you very much, sir.
So as we take a look over at Mclagging's screen now, he did just complete Swamp, and I believe full cleared it, and that leaves him, you know, with few places left, and I think he's having a hard time remembering that Hookshot Cave has been left unchecked. He's got the flute out, as Ganon is down.
Yeah, that is it for Z4T0X. GG, my good friend. GG to Z4T0X. And as soon as he enters the door here, we will record his official time. Very nicely done. Z4T0X finishing with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 39 minutes, and 27 seconds.
And OMG is right. I feel like that's a fairly appropriate text display there from the Triforce, because again, Boots and Spike Cave and Lamp and T-Rock, especially the Lamp and T-Rock, those were a couple of tough plays to make, and Z4T0X made them, you know, very quickly, and as a result, ended up finishing with a pretty good time, given how much of the overworld and how many locations he cleared.
Indeed, indeed. Oh, what a race.
And Mclagging is looking like he may not continue here.
Not sure yet, but we're verifying right now. He may or may not forfeit. We don't know for sure, but we shall see here shortly. But we're checking to see if Z4T0X will join us for an interview. We'll see. Yep, there it is. Mclagging has officially forfeited the race. It is over.
Well, I have to say, good run to Mclagging. Obviously, one error cost him significantly. But we have to remember that he made the initial play to go up to Death Mountain and making the play on Spike Cave to get the boots, which led him to the mids. He did that before Z4T0X. Now, by only a couple of minutes, but at the time, we were thinking that the tables really might have turned, that the momentum had swung in his favor. But Z4T0X came right back with that really incredible play to dip into T-Rock, finding the lamp, and that was the end of it right there.
Indeed. Unfortunately, both of our runners unable to do an interview today, so unfortunately we won't be able to hear from them. But again, GG to Z4T0X, an incredible race. Very good gamble there that paid off for him big. We do want to remind you folks, if you enjoyed both of our runners, please be sure to give them both a follow on Twitch, Z4T0X and Mclagging. Very awesome runners. And of course, shout out to our restreamer Zelda, our tracker Math Girl, and of course, myself and my co-commentator
Duberson.
Sorry.
Yes.
I blanked for a minute there. I don't know what happened. Trying to keep
my
up too much
name.
at once.
It's hard.
Also, be sure to follow us on Speed Gaming's 1 through 4 for more exciting races aside from A Link to the Past. But if you're looking for more randomizer action, a race is going on right now over on ALTTP Randomizer, and we've also got I'm Hugh Bliss and Jacobs for Life right now. Dude and Bite Size BDK in a few hours. ALTTP R2 has Jesus the Frog versus Failstream. So that is definitely a lot of races you guys should be keeping your eyes peeled on. And of course, follow all 8 of our channels. Speed Gaming 1 through 4, ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 4 for all the exciting action. But any final words from you, dude, before we sign off?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Really incredible race again. Z4T0X, A-level. Just incredible stuff from him in terms of, the gutsy check of beg your pardon, Turtle Rock. So great run. Mclagging, unfortunately, just that one mistake to not check it and waiting till the last minute to check it because it was just so inconvenient at that point. So yeah, thank you. Once again, thanks to our tracker and our restreamers, Zelda and Math Girl. And I urge you to get some chamomile tea, rest those pipes, and I'll see you around.
Indeed. And on behalf of everybody here at Speed Gaming, I'm the Shades, and we'll see you guys next time. Rock on!